Hey everyone, we're out here today. We're going to go through a few flat corner techniques. These are a few pointers that I've focused on with my training and practice for 15 plus years. So hopefully we can nut out a few things and help you get around those flat corners faster. So the first thing we want to do is on our approach, we want to spot our apex of the flat corner. Unlike a berm, this might vary from person to person, depending on if you want to go a little bit more inside, a little more outside, whatever the case may be. But we want to, on our approach, spot our apex and begin to look at that and then look through the corner. So on our approach, once we've got ourselves nice and settled and we know where the apex for the corner is, we want to try ideally and get all our braking done before we start cornering. If we're holding on to the brakes while we're going around the corner, we've got a possibility of locking the back wheel up, or even the front wheel, worst case, and the back wheel is going to step out on us. If we're not doing any braking, we're going to have a nice clean arc to the corner and going to have better grip throughout the whole thing. All right, so the next thing we want to focus on, depending on whether we're turning left or right, is we want to have our outside foot down and weighting more on our inside hand than our outside hand. So this is going to exaggerate the pressure point on our inside side knobs on the tyre. So we're going to get them nice and weighted before we really start pushing into the corner. We don't want any really fast, erratic movements here, as long as we're getting a nice clean radius around the corner. So this may not be the case if we've got a flat corner around some little janky rocks or a little rough section. It might not be appropriate to have our outside foot down because we could be getting pretty close to some rocks there. So this might be a time where we need to have our feet level as if we were riding through a berm. But that's just going to depend on track to track, corner to corner. So once we've completed the majority of our flat corner, we want to start looking up, looking ahead where we want to go next. Maybe we're getting on the pedals, maybe we're doing a little bit more braking for the next corner or feature. So regardless of your skill level, or whether you're racing or just enjoying your riding with your mates, this is probably one of the most overlooked, seemingly simple techniques that you can practice. I still practice it every other time I ride. If you're really focusing on these key points, you're going to pick up time down the trail. It can be as simple as getting out into like a local grass paddock or something like that, a little bit of a hill, and just practicing a little slalom line like you've seen us doing here on the fire road. Ideally, if you're not super confident with it, somewhere softer rather than harder to land is always good. But yeah, it's one of those types of things where you can just keep practicing, keep nutting away, finding your own little setups. Maybe you might learn a little bit about your suspension or your handlebar setup. So yeah, have fun, keep practicing, get out there, maybe team up with a few mates, see who can get down the hill fastest, and yeah, rip in.